Sup GameLeapers, Coach Eags on the daily upload, this time giving you 6 tips that will for sure help you climb out of elo hell. If you have a negative win rate, tilt really easily, have been silver for the last 5 seasons and have no hope left, this is the video for you. As someone who started in silver 1 way back in season 2 and climbed all the way to challenger, I know what it takes and want to share with you my keys to climbing. Quick shout out to our website GameLeap.com. If you're serious about unlocking your potential on League, then look no further. The market leader in providing you with informative videos, courses and guides, uploaded and updated on a daily basis. Please remember to like the video, we really appreciate it, and subscribe so you stay up to date with our must-watch daily uploads. Let's get into it. Tip number 1. Strengths and weaknesses. Let me ask you a question. Do you play Victor the same way you do Zed? Do you play Vayne the same way you do Caitlyn? Do you play Maokai the same you do Fiora? No, but why? Because champions are different. They have different strengths and different weaknesses. Lots of the players I've coached in lower elos struggle to change their playstyle depending on the champion they are playing. For example, a gold mid laner plays Syndra like they are playing Katarina. They play the same way every game and are only aware of one style of play. So, how do we change that? By identifying your champion's strengths when they are strong and weaknesses when they are weak. Generally, during points of strength, you should look to harass, trade, and bully your opponent. You want to fight, basically. When you are weak, you want the opposite. You want to maintain your health and mana, CS as well as you can, and avoid fighting until your point of power. But how do you know when a champion is strong and when a champion is weak? The easiest way is to judge champions according to levels and their abilities. For example, a level 1 Alistar with his Q Pulverize is extremely weak, but when Alistar hits level 2 and skills his W Headbutt, he has power in the lane. From level 1 to level 2, Alistar has acquired a Gap Closer, Engage, and CC, all key characteristics for an all-in support. Let's do another one, Renekton. Level 1 Renekton will most likely start Q, sometimes W, and his Fury makes him very strong level 1 because his abilities become empowered. At level 2 nothing changes, and at level 3 he has everything he needs as a fighting top laner. Sustain, damage, mobility, wave clear, everything. Now of course the champion you are playing against is important, but if you don't know how your champion works and when to be aggressive, when to be passive, you have dug yourself a hole before you even load onto Summoner's Rift. I'd recommend checking out our hundreds of champion guides both on YouTube and our website, made by experts who know their champion inside out. The way you view your champion at the moment might be completely wrong, and therefore you're not making full use of that champion's kit. This next tip will also help with understanding your champion. Tip number 2. Analyze, don't just watch. Most viewers on Twitch or YouTube just sit and watch their favorite streamers, which is fine of course. If they make a sick play, their reaction is wow. We want you to start asking how. Very few people, if any, watch a top tier player and question the decisions and plays they make.
Lazar, hey bro. What do you think about Cat? Yeah, Cat's good, but... Oh yeah, she's just good, I guess.
When I streamed, most of the questions I got asked revolved around builds, runes, and the changes in the upcoming patch. But these things don't make you a better player. If a champion gets buffed to oblivion and you climb with them, what happens when they get nerfed? You go straight back down because you are still the same player. One way to improve is to analyze high elo gameplay and question it. You need to stop passively spectating and start actively spectating. Why did they not fight there? How is he so far ahead? Why didn't he auto attack that minion? Why take raptors and not Krugs? The more you ask, the more you learn. The less you ask, the more you will stay the same. When I coach students and I ask them why they made a certain decision, most of the responses are, well, this person runs it, so I thought I would. It's so important to understand why, the intention behind it, the reasoning. If you don't know why a certain play was made or why a certain build was chosen, then that win rate will stay at 50. For those of you who tilt, this next tip is going to save you. Accountability. Who has blamed someone for dying in League? I have. My hands up, and I know everyone watching has done it at some point, no matter how many levels of honor you have. I know for a fact, however, the players who improve the most are players that care about their play and not the play of a teammate on a massive loss streak. For those of you in silver, do you think your Vayne knows how to position? For those of you in gold, do you think your mid laner knows how to jungle track? For those of you even in Grandmaster, do you think your top laner knows about wave management? The answer to all those questions is no. Otherwise, they would all be above 1000 LP. So why are you surprised when they do not help you at Scuttlecrab, or the Nautilus misses his hook on an altered target? The first person you always look to blame is yourself, and the only time you ever look at anyone else is if you play perfectly, and guess what? That never happens. Just to play perfectly for 10 seconds is near enough impossible for everyone in lower elo, but you give yourself a chance at getting closer to that level if you hold yourself responsible. Maybe you only pinged 4 times that bot lane was going to get ganked and not 5. Maybe you forgot to ping the enemy mid laner's flash, and it might not even be your lane. Or maybe you QS'd S half a second too late. Setting high standards for yourself and playing towards them is arguably the most important teaching in League. You can have all the mechanics in the world, but if you are that player who spam pings their team when you are the one with 10 deaths in 20 minutes, Yasuo mains, no one else is to blame. Let me put it this way. Players are in a certain elo because that is their standard of play. You are gold because you are a gold player. You are silver because you are a silver player. You are bronze because you are bronze. If you want to escape an elo, you have to play above it. If you want to be as good as your favorite streamer or pro player, you have to play at the highest level, and pointing the finger gets you nowhere. Sometimes, maybe even in most cases, one person will be more at fault than others, but I guarantee you could have done something else in lane or in a team fight, regardless of how consequential it would have been. That's how you improve the most. Accountability, guys. Now that we're going to be focusing on ourselves, let's put a stop to the giga tilt once and for all by creating a vision. And this is tip number 4. This is the light at the end of the tunnel, and I do not want it to be just a light. I want it to be more specific than that. If you are gold, your vision might involve you reaching platinum. If you are diamond, your vision might involve you becoming a pro player in 2 seasons. If you just started playing League, your vision might involve you mastering a champion. It all depends on you as an individual, and there is no right or wrong. Unless, of course, your vision is to run it down every game. That's not what we're after, though. So what are the advantages of creating a vision? Well, let's go through some. Focus. All of a sudden, the small details matter. Impetus. You start to think about the why and the reasoning behind every decision. Commitment. You work towards it every minute, every second of every game. And after a period of time, whether you are a little closer or within touching distance of that light at the end of the tunnel, you have bettered yourself on and off the rift. This ties into my next tip, which is definitely one of the most important. Patience. Tip number 5. You do not go from silver to diamond overnight. Do not become a pro player overnight. You do not master a champion overnight. Guess what these things take? Time. And no matter how long it takes, you have to accept that it's not an immediate process. I've had students climb divisions and tiers in days and weeks, but even after achieving such feats, they become impatient and expect it to continue until they reach rank 1. A vision, tip number 4, takes time to realize by default. It's not a short-term process. You have to be real with yourself and accept that there will be high points and low points. There will be moments when you want to throw in the towel and bash your keyboard, but staying patient and reminding yourself after every game of the big picture keeps you going, and those bad habits you had in the past start to slowly go away. When you were playing League, how many of you have died or baited your team because you went for the end and not for the free objective? How many of you forced a team fight knowing it was not the right time or place? How many of you overreached for a kill on an assassin despite the enemy ADC having 4 teammates there to support them? This is down to you being impatient and thinking that a game of League has a time limit on it. It does not. The game ends when the game ends. Your focus each game should be on making the optimal plays and optimal decisions, and the LP, the wins, the losses, the enemy nexus exploding, those are byproducts of you having a vision, of course, but also having patience, accepting that there is no countdown on winning a game or making a play. It happens when it happens. One of the biggest problems players in any elo have is that they are not willing to accept making mistakes. And this is my last tip, number 6. Players who rage, tilt, flame, send their keyboards across the room and take shark bites out of their desk with their fist all have the same problem, thinking they are the perfect player. Hey bro, I'm here to tell you in the most non-toxic but honest way, you are not the perfect player. You know why? Not because you are not good, because it doesn't exist. Everyone, no matter how gifted, no matter how hard you work, makes mistakes. The big difference between the top tier players and most others, however, is that they play and train knowing that mistakes are part of the process and they are at ease with making them. They learn, they become better. For some reason, this is fairly common, and it relates to my point about accountability earlier. Players are more than willing to point out someone else's mistakes, but when it's turned on them, they cannot accept it, being the infallible, perfect player they are, and they retaliate, whether that be in chat or by griefing or inting. Some even go as far as inting those players in future games. Queue up for your next solo queue game and realize that making mistakes is part of the process. Queue up accepting that your teammates are going to make mistakes, and even if they make most of them, you are fine with that, no worries. Queue up with the 6 tips I've given you today in mind, and I assure you guys that your solo queue experience will be a lot more enjoyable and a lot more successful. Thanks so much for watching the entire video. We really appreciate the support, guys. If one of these tips helped you out, then please leave a like to help the video out. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our awesome daily uploads, and do not close your browser without heading over to GameLeap.com, the best website for League of Legends content. Hundreds of videos, courses, guides uploaded each day and updated on the reg so you stay ahead of the curve. This has been Coach Cheeks. Until next time, peace.